Hey y'all, Zach McDonald, your real estate agent with Real Property Associates, and this is my Seattle Real Estate Market Watch for October 3rd, 2022. Today we're going to be looking at data from the last week from the multiple listing service NWMLS, and we're going to be looking at data from King and Snohomish County. If you want to see more information here, a little bit more of a deep dive into some of the stats, we do those every month with the Seattle Real Estate Market Updates. The newest one will be coming out next week. We're given a few more days before we record, just so we can get all the best data. A lot of times things are getting updated late at the end of the month and the beginning of the new month, so we're going to wait a few more days. But a little sneak peek here, Seattle is down month over month. Not surprised with the fall here in session. We got King County down a tiny bit as well. Snohomish County down a tiny bit. Pretty much stagnant though, very marginal difference there. But Bellevue up month over month. So just a little quick snapshot there. The market has, I've been saying this for a while, it has been stabilizing. If we look at year over year data, most of the area, Seattle itself up, at least as of today, 6.5%. Again, that data is probably going to be updated. King County up 6.1%. Snohomish County up 8.2% year over year. Bellevue is down 8.6% though. But I will say Bellevue's high for the year last year was September, which is extremely rare. Typically we're seeing the high of the year somewhere between April and June, and last year Bellevue's was in September, which again is odd. So there's this random spike in September. But if we were to look back at the beginning of the year, Bellevue's prices are very similar to where they were at the beginning of the year. And in case you're curious, Bellevue's median sales price in January was $1,712,500. So we're down slightly, and we're about equal $1,650,000 with December. So kind of coming into the new year, Bellevue's about where it started, at least as of median sales price, even with all the craziness that's been going on. All right, let's look at the actual data here over the last week now that we got our little bit of a sneak peek of the next market update. And if we're looking at the new listings, 721 new listings over the last week in King and Snohomish County. We had 823 price reductions. Okay, so we're still seeing a lot of price reductions. That's actually one of the higher numbers that we've seen on one of these market watches. We've had 27 contingent sales. So again, contingent purchases are happening. This is that opportunity. I've been talking about opportunities. This is an opportunity for somebody that needs to buy and sell at the same time. And that's a requirement for their financing. So if you can do that, this is your window. It's been your window for a few months now. It's going to continue to be your window here, I think, at least for a couple more months. You've got 717 pending listings. All right, so 721 new, 717 pendings, and 719 sold. So pretty much we're seeing a lot of the inventory that's been built up starting to sell. We are going to see, I think, and again, I'm just waiting for the data to be updated. I think we are going to see a slight uptick in inventory again, which is the months of supply number that we talk about on those market updates. Again, I'm waiting for the official data to be completed, but it's either going to be flat or slightly up in King and Snohomish County here. As of this point, it's flat in Snohomish County and slightly up in King County. So again, we'll talk about that more in those market updates, but we have been seeing that we were seeing a lot of homes starting to build up on the market, and that hasn't been the case over the past few months. We saw it go down. And now I think we're seeing that starting to stabilize a little bit. So there are new listings for sure, but those new listings are selling, which is a good sign for buyers and sellers here in the Seattle market. So what's going on with interest rates this week? I think people have been asking about that and really wanting to pay extra special attention to interest rates. And Mortgage News Daily as of today, Monday, October 3rd, 6.69%, which is down about 0.13% as of Friday, and down down more than a quarter point from earlier in the week last week. So last week rates jumped up over 7% for the first time in over 20 years. Again, historically before that, that's about where rates were on the low end, and they had been historically higher. But in more recent history, we've seen rates a lot lower. So getting up over 7 is a big deal. At least it feels like a big deal. if you were purchasing here, and a lot of your friends bought or refinanced into rates in the upper 2s to low to mid 3s, right? That's more than double. And right now we've been seeing those rates come down over the past few days, and we'll see, right? Fannie Mae is predicting Q2, Q3, somewhere in that range to see rates again in the mid 4s, which would mean that we're going to be in this higher rate climate for 6 to 12 more months. I think in the grand scheme of things, that's a relatively short amount of time, and it will allow buyers an opportunity to get a better price. Because I think until rates get lower again and the competition changes and people increase in confidence, and right now I think part of why things are slower right now is consumer confidence. That's a big piece of it. I think the affordability tied in with the higher rates is a big part of it as well. But once rates drop down and it becomes a little bit more affordable to make a purchase again, and there's more confidence and the market's good and the news is saying, hey, prices are going up, that just seems to be when people are buying. If we look back at last year, at the same time, everybody wants to buy a house, but we're nearing or heading into the biggest prices that we've ever seen, right? And right now, prices have been going down. I've been talking about that over the last 4 to 6 months about how the market's shifting and we're starting to slow down, and all of a sudden, nobody wants to buy. So in my mind, I'm thinking, well, were we so set on buying when the market was hot, but now we don't want to buy when it's bad? And I think just in general, for me, you as an investor and a homeowner, you want to buy when you can. That's number one principle. But I think the other one is when there's opportunities, you want to take advantage of those opportunities too. So I'm personally looking at, well, maybe I can buy the next house that I want. Maybe it'll be a little bit cheaper than it would have been if I bought it in the springtime, right? I think as a buyer, if you're watching this and you're thinking about buying, you got to be looking for opportunities. So right now there's opportunities. They could get better, right? And I think they're not going to go away in the short term, right? We're talking about rates being a little bit higher. I think you're still going to have opportunities here, but they're going to change and the market is going to shift. And when it does, we don't know when that's going to happen like that, right? I'm going to make videos about it, right? Just like I'm making videos about how the market's shifting in the opposite direction. But I do think it has stabilized somewhat for now. We'll see what the future holds. And I think there's some people predicting it's going to keep getting worse and worse and worse. I really disagree with them on that. But it could get a little bit worse. But I think right now what we do know is that Seattle over the past 4 to 5 months has had the biggest drop in prices out of everybody in the country. So there's opportunities right now. So I would encourage you, if you're thinking about buying, to take advantage of those opportunities. I think sellers, if you're watching this and you have a house, I wouldn't sell it out of panic by any means. I would hold on to your house. I don't think you need to sell it. If you want to sell it, you can, and you're still going to make, at least according to the data, like I said, as of today, you're most likely going to sell your house for maybe 5 to 8% more than you would have last year, okay, at the same time. So earlier in the year, yeah, prices were higher, but you still have an opportunity to sell for more. But I wouldn't say, oh yeah, go sell your house right now. If you don't need to sell your house, you have a great rate, you like your house, I wouldn't sell my house out of panic. I don't think the market's going to crash, but we have certainly corrected here over the last few months. Thanks so much for watching this week's Seattle Market Watch. If you got a lot of value out of this video, please consider subscribing to the channel so you can see more videos just like this one. And if you want to talk more about buying and selling in the Seattle area, please feel free to reach out.